Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream, Real Sports Updates here. So, I wanted to talk about this Justin Herbert injury. Obviously, this is the big news if you're a Charger fan, and pretty much been waiting with bated breath all day about this Herbert injury and how it's going to affect the Chargers moving forward. So, obviously, the good news is that the X-rays on the ribs were negative. He was negative for any fractured ribs, any broken ribs, right? Which is a big thing. It's a a very big deal for a quarterback. Um, but he got this described as a fractured rib cartilage. So it's pretty much the cartilage like around your ribs. It's like the soft bony stuff around your ribs, cartilage. Same thing in your nose, your ears. So he has that is fractured on him. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know if anybody has any personal history with rib injuries, but if you do, you know that these don't heal fast at all. I had something similar. I want to say like 2010ish, about 2010, 2011ish. I was playing basketball. I got a steal. I was, going to the hole really hard at a fast rate of speed. I ended up I guess you could say I ended up getting fouled and I crashed into the padding in the gym, right? But this padding was new. It wasn't broken in. It wasn't soft. It was very thick padding. And I crashed into it very, very hard. Um, Ended up going to get x-rays as well too. They were negative, but I had just bruising around there. I didn't have any fractures or anything like that. It was just bruising. But it took me, I want to say, I can't remember exactly, but it took me like 3.5 weeks for the pain to go away when I, stopped doing just regular stuff, right? Laughing hurted, um, taking deep breaths, doing that, it hurt. Twisting, bending, just doing little different things like that, it hurt a lot. So this is going to be an injury. This is something to keep an eye on. The Chargers have him listed as day to day. And I think that is, that's an optimistic outlook on this, but this is going to be something that is going to, you're going to have to watch and you're going to have to pay attention because I don't think that this is a day to day injury. I think if you do a Google search, and I haven't done it, but I think if you do a Google search, it'll probably say like 4 to 6 weeks to heal. In my opinion, I think. And I wasn't, of course, I wasn't playing football. I wasn't getting hit or anything, but just the average day to day stuff is very very painful. If you're, especially if you're a quarterback and he's twisting and doing all of this stuff, it's that's going to be a very, very hard injury to come from. The one thing that I learned about that is that you don't have a lot of blood flow going to like your rib area. So that is why it takes so long to heal. Like ribs, cracked ribs and all that stuff. It takes a very long time to heal. You don't have the blood flow there, right? You don't have the blood flow. There's not too much soft tissue in that area. You just have your ribs, the cartilage around it, and then you have like the intercostal muscles that are like very thin. So it's not too much around that area as far as blood flow goes. So it takes a long time to heal. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this and how they want to go with this. To see Google says 6 weeks. Yeah, so 6 weeks is about the time that it's going to take to. I would say probably 6 weeks, maybe longer. They have some stuff that they can do. There's those practitioners who really work on soft tissue. They work on muscle, and their goal is to always like get red blood cells into the affected area, to heal the area. There's a bunch of those people on Instagram and stuff, so you can go and see like they. I'm sure the Chargers are going to have the best of the best there, trying to get him to heal, but it's going to be an uphill battle. I don't think that he's going to be back. I don't think he plays against Jacksonville. If I had to bet, I don't think I do not think he plays against Jacksonville at all. Let's see. I got a super chat from Aprex. One of the real doctors on YouTube says it's a 6 week thing. Yeah, I should Justin take a shot. I hope he sits out for a few weeks. I think, yeah. See, it is. It's a 6 week injury, and this is, that's the optimistic timetable. I think it's a 6 week injury, but it's going to be difficult for a doctor. Any doctor says, okay, you're healed. Now you can go get hit in the same exact spot. where you just got hit. That's going to be tricky. It's very tricky. Rib injuries always tricky. They suck and they linger all the time, all the time. So you think Chase or Eden will be able to play against Jacksonville, win, and give Herbert more? I think so. That's what's going to have to happen. I don't think that I don't see him practicing all week long. That thing is going to hurt for a while. And obviously he's a big kid. He's healthy. He's going to heal up probably faster than most people do, but that is going to the repetitive motion of throwing the football and all that stuff. Like you use every muscle, like all your core muscles, every muscle in your midsection. All of that is going to hurt, and the intercostal muscles in your ribs, all of that is connected, and it's just like, if he's tried, I don't know. I just don't know. There is a big risk with, in re-aggravating this injury as well too. So I don't know, man. This is going to be hard. You seen him on that it was right before that fourth down. I think it was that third down, right, where he was scrambling. He had a chance to run. He was in so much pain, he just threw the ball away. Like that's how much pain he was in, and that's why I was like, this don't look good. But we will see. We'll see how they get through this. I'm curious to see how they manage this. This could be Brandon Staley's job on the line if he mismanages this. That's the one big thing that I wanted to come on here and talk about. Brandon Staley could be gone if he mismanages this. There's already heat on Brandon Staley for letting Herbert continue the game, in my opinion. I think so. I think if you're ownership, right, if you're Spanos, you're looking at this like, why is it he just got hit? He's laid on the ground for 5 minutes. They have to go and take a media timeout because he's laid on the ground. Then you let him go back in and get hit again, and he got hit the very next play, and he went down to the ground. It was ugly. It was ugly, and this is on Brandon Staley. He is going to have some. If he mismanages this in any way, he's going to have a lot of heat. People are going to be pissed at him. They're going to be calling for his head. So it's going to be interesting. Let's see. Yeah, it's no joke. Fractured cartilage, skateboarding in early 6 months exactly. There was no action for at least 6 weeks. Any rotate? Yes. You see, this is difficult. And riding skateboards is obviously it's dangerous, but and you're falling off and all of that stuff. But there's no like repetitive like hitting all game long like it is. If you're a quarterback, you're standing there, you're getting hit, and not only that, but everybody knows that his ribs are injured now. So if he goes out there and plays, somebody is going to hit him in the ribs. Like, as messed up as it is, somebody's going to hit him in the ribs and they're going to try to get him out of the game, right? Obviously, you want Herbert out of the game. You would rather face Chase Daniel than Justin Herbert. So he's going to be a target too. That's what I'm saying. This is a delicate situation. And that's why I put on this thumbnail. This can really change like the outlook of the NFL. If this is mismanaged and there is some collateral damage as far as like Herbert and his health, like long term, if this is mismanaged, I don't think Brandon Staley will be back, to be honest with you. He already has he's getting a lot of heat today for letting Justin Herbert stay into the game. He really is. And I haven't even watched any morning shows or anything like that, but just from little things that I've read and stuff, like he's getting a lot of heat. He's getting a lot of heat, and he deserves it. It's only the second game of the season. Yes, you want to beat Kansas City, but in a game like that, you just got to, really just kind of wave the white flag, because one game is not worth your franchise quarterback's health. And having this, a rib injury could be a long-term injury. It's just not worth it. And he's getting a lot of heat. He's getting a lot of pushback, and I think he deserves it. Definitely think he deserves it. Herbert is a dog. He is a dog. He's got a lot of heart, man. A lot of people underestimate him just because he's quiet, but he's a quiet killer. Like, he's got heart. He wants to go out there and win. He wants to go out there and play. But yeah, it was just a bad situation last night. Bad situation. All this wouldn't have happened if Staley and Barty weren't so conservative. We were dominating. We should have put them away and put our backups in. But no, the coaches we have suck. I mean, it was. I don't know. It was the second half. It really was a tale of two halves. I mean, I can't believe, like, when I woke up this morning, I was like, I can't believe. It seemed like it was a dream, because they were rolling in the first half. They left a lot of points out there. Brandon Staley did get hella conservative, and he is. I think it was you, Toby. I think you left a comment that said he has let like the media critics turn him into a completely different coach. He did a 180, and I completely agree with that, because there were so many times where the Chargers could have went for it, And the way that they were running the ball, the way that their offense was running, they were flowing. So it would have been hard for the Chiefs to get any stops on fourth down. Just a different personnel groupings too. Xander Horvath and all that stuff. He played. Why does Xander Horvath play in the first half, but he doesn't play in the second half? And a lot of people, there are still people in the comments defending Joe Lombardi. How does that happen, right? He scores touchdowns. He obviously is pretty good lead blocking, and he is a weapon out of the backfield. Obviously, you can throw the ball to him, right? Why doesn't he never play in the second half? That's another question that somebody could ask. But yes, the play calling obviously was a problem. Staley is I don't know, man. I don't know. It's I'm starting to question Staley very, very much. Very, very, very much. Some of these decisions are just mind-boggling. And this is a decision now. He's at a point now where, okay, the fourth downs or something, the fourth downs were a story last year. But this, your quarterback now with a very delicate injury that everybody knows about, how is he going to manage this? I am very curious to see how he manages this, because this could be his career with the Chargers. This could be his career. I don't know. We'll see how they manage it. We'll definitely see how they manage it, because I mean, everybody, we just, from all of us, we all know that rib injuries are not necessarily day to day. So it was interesting to see that Brandon Staley came out and said that he is day to day. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. We'll see how they handle that. They might try to start him anyways, just like they did in the game when it happened, when he should have took him out. I know. Yeah, I know. But it's the pressure's on. You can damn sure believe the pressure's on. I made a video, like, was it 2 or 3 months ago? Is there any pressure on Brandon Staley? And I made that video just assuming that everybody's going to be healthy throughout the season. There was pressure on him already with everybody healthy. Now with this Herbert injury, how do you manage this going forward? They have already put this stuff out that he's day to day. I don't like that. I don't like it. He should not have he shouldn't have even said anything. He should have just said, we will evaluate him next week. So that doesn't put any undue pressure on him to feel like he needs to play against Jacksonville. And it also doesn't, give teams a chance to say, okay, we know that he's going to play. We're going to prepare for Justin Herbert. And Chase Daniel runs out there and they prepare, for Justin Herbert. They're preparing for Justin Herbert is preparing for anybody. So, I don't know. It's just things, they don't really make sense right now. I would like to see some clarification going forward. Let's see, did the hit come through Storm? I'm not sure. I want to check that out. I want to check that out when the All 22 comes out. I don't know if you guys have the NFL Plus, if you have the subscription. The coach's film comes on there. It's normally, I think they say 24 to 36 hours. So I'm curious. I'm definitely going to go back and see when that hit came in, because the hit that they showed when he went down, it didn't look like very much. It didn't look like he fell on the defender's helmet. I've seen him get hit harder, so I couldn't really tell if it happened at that point or was it an accumulation of hits. Because the way that he fell, it looked like he might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him, because he fell kind of flat on his back. And the defender did come in, but he let up though. I think it was 51. He did come in with a pretty hard initial hit. It might have happened there, but he let up and he didn't drive him to the ground. So that's why I was kind of like, when did this happen? But it could have happened at that point. I'm not sure if it came in with Storm Norton or somebody else, but yeah, it was just, the second half was a nightmare situation. Obviously, the offensive line injuries are something to speak about, but I don't know. It's just not a good enough excuse to shit the bed in the second half. I'm sorry. There's a lot of Charger fans who are making excuses. Oh, it's just the offensive line and this and that. Okay, and injuries happen in the NFL. You must be prepared for those. You have to work around that. You have to be prepared for it. If you're a head coach, you got to go into every single game, not assuming that somebody gets injured, but what is your contingency plan when such and such does get injured? You have to plan for this. This is what you get paid for. There's a bunch of Charger fans who are just saying, oh, it's no, there's injuries and all that stuff. Okay, that's why you got backups. You come in and you expect them to play at a replacement level. And so you adjust everything. You adjust the offense. You adjust your play calling. you adjust tempo, you adjust all these little things when replacements come in. But it's not a good enough excuse for everybody to just hit the bed and just say, oh, we got replacements in, so it's no big deal. No, I don't like that. I don't like that way. I don't like that thinking at all. And there's a lot of Charger fans who are just excusing it. Oh, we got backup. So, and big deal. Big deal. I don't like that. Do not like that. Let's see. Sucks seeing the Chargers continue to lose games for not keeping the pressure on. Every year, same result, like he's sticking it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what happens. Like these guys want to coach uh, close games or something. I don't know. I really don't understand. The Chiefs were on the ropes in the first half. Mahomes was frustrated as hell. That's the most frustrated I think I've ever seen Mahomes. He looked like he was like so flustered. He looked like he wanted to like dig into his offensive lineman or something. Like there was something going on with the Chiefs that normally doesn't happen. Offensively, they weren't all that sharp. I don't know what was going on. Maybe the protection was screwed up or something. But Mahomes was pissed. He was hot. He was hot. They panned in on his face several times, and you can see how pissed off he was several times. So there was something going on, and that is obviously the time to put the pressure on a team like that, right? If he's pissed off and they're down by 3 points, if you go for it on a couple of fourth downs, you score a couple more touchdowns, you go up by 10, 14 points, he's really going to be pissed, and the pressure is really going to be on him. And when he has pressure on him like that, when he's down, he will force balls in there, a la the dropped interception by Asante Samuel. But that's what he does when he gets flustered. That's what he does when he gets mad. Like, that was the best time to beat the Chiefs at that point right there, especially over there at home. That was the best time. So let's see. Lombardi's only accomplishment is having the last name. Staley will be negligent if he allows this clown to keep calling the shots on offense. Dude's incompetence is jeopardizing a potential. Yeah, I've been saying that. There's a lot of Charger fans defending it though. They're defending it. And they keep saying, oh, you guys are just blaming Lombardi for everything. No, we're not blaming Lombardi for everything. Obviously, he's not the head coach. You can't blame him for everything. But this offense, there's too much money on this offense. There's too much talent on this offense. There's too many Pro Bowlers on this offense. How many? You had 8 guys. The Chargers had 8, the most in the top 100. There's too much talent on this team for the offense to not be scoring a lot of points. That's what it is. And they always have so many excuses. The one I seen last night, the excuse I seen last night was the offensive line injuries and the Chiefs defense. And the Chiefs made adjustments, so they had to throw short and all of that stuff. And some of that is true to some degree. And I even said that in the video to preview the game. I said that the short game might work better against the Chiefs because that's just the way that they play defense. They want to bring a lot of pressure, and when they're not able to bring a lot of pressure, they pretty much just, they play the short game really well, right? That's what the Chiefs do when they're not bringing pressure. So that's why I thought they were going to bring a lot of pressure. So I'm thinking, okay, the short game's going to work. Pressure's coming. Just get it out there and let the receivers, running backs, catch the ball and get as many yards as they can. So that's what I thought they were going to do. And the Chiefs did it a little bit in the first half. But in the second half, they didn't do that. They kind of just sat back, and the Chargers didn't put any pressure on them. Not running the ball and not deep. Everything was just intermediate, and it was just it sucked. It sucked, and that's one of the big reasons why we lost. There are a lot of Charger fans defending this guy, though. I don't know why. He's not a good offensive coordinator. He's not going to. If he got fired today, there's no other team that will pick him up. That's just where we're at with this. And a lot of people just don't, for whatever reason, they don't care. They don't want to hear it. They just defend everything that these coaches do. And again, none of these, Lombardi is not proven. Neither is Brandon Staley. Why can't you question what they're doing? Why? You have a Hall of Fame quarterback. You have, again, from 1 to 53, the most talented roster in the league. Why can't you question these guys? You scored 24 opening day. You score, 24 yesterday too. Why can't they put up more points? I just don't get it. You can't score even 28 points, a touchdown, a quarter. Is that too much to ask from a Hall of Fame quarterback? Keenan Allen might go into the Hall of Fame as a receiver. Obviously, Mike Williams, one of the best, deep threats, got one of the best catch radiuses and stuff. Austin Eckler, 20 touchdowns last year. A touchdown, a quarter is too much to ask. I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand how they argue this. And then there was a stat last night. Justin Herbert had he averaged 3.8 yards per throw or something like that. Obviously, awful. Last year, I think he was 30th out of the 32 starting quarterbacks with air yards. So all of the people who kept bringing up all the offensive line injuries and all of that stuff, how do you explain the 2021 air yards as well too? This is just something that Joe Lombardi does. This is a trend. It's not just we're not on the internet just talking shit about him just to talk shit about him. This is a trend. Justin Herbert, one of the strongest arms in the league, is not utilizing that strength. He's throwing short. 30th out of the 32 starting quarterbacks in air yards. This year, he's probably going to. It's at this point right now, he's probably like I would say probably last. I would think. I don't know. I would have to go and check, but he's probably in the same position, if not last, this season. That is an offensive thing. That is an offensive philosophy. It doesn't just happen over 18 games. And the same people, the Chiefs made adjustments and all that stuff. So you think they're the first team to make adjustments against the Chargers? That's what you do. It's a chess game. That's what NFL football is about. It's adjustment after adjustment. I match your adjustment, you match mine. It's a chess game. We go back and forth. We go back and forth. We don't just go away from something just because they made an adjustment. No, we'll operate, with that adjustment, right? We'll go at it. We'll go at it, and then we'll go back to doing what we do best, right? And Justin Herbert goes down the field best. I just don't get it. Really don't get it. Don't understand the people who are arguing for Joe Lombardi. It doesn't make any sense. As he sit him out this month, our defense will be healthy and up to the task, but can we beat the Jags or Texans with Chase Daniel or Easton Stick? One would think that we can, but we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. We wasn't it the game? Yeah, that was a Thursday night game last year against the Chiefs, right? We had them beat, just like we did last night. We had them beat. They beat us in overtime. Then the following week, we ended up going to Houston, and we ended up getting our asses whooped in Houston. So going forward, like the game against Jacksonville is really going to, whether or not Justin Herbert plays or not, it's really going to show what this coaching staff is made of, because the talent is out there. The talent, we got the talent on the field. We got the talent on the field. This is going to be a coaching staff thing, because all of these guys that we signed, Sebastian Joseph Day, J.C. Jackson, Austin Johnson, all that stuff, all these guys have shown that they can play in the NFL over several years. Right, none of these guys are flash in the pan players. There's no 1 year wonders on this Charger team. All of these guys have shown that they can play. Right, Khalil Mack. Obviously, these guys have shown that they can play in the NFL at a very high level for many years under different coaches and all of that stuff. So the pressure now goes on the coaches. This is not a player thing. We know J.C. Jackson can ball. This ain't a player thing. This is a coaching thing. So now the pressure really is going to be on the coaches, and we'll see how they try to navigate through this. I don't have a whole lot of hope, because they've made a bunch of stupid decisions already, but we'll see how they navigate through this. This is going to be all on them, 100% going to be on them. Let's see, the lateral from AC to X was very dangerous, dumb call. It was, it was, but I mean, that's him being creative, so. Oh, man. Let's see. Bro, you see the drives where we had the ball for literally like 45 seconds, then punted it back to the Chiefs due to poor play calling. Yep, we kept throwing 2-yard passes, same. Yeah. You see, and that was the third quarter. I think that was the drive. That was the first drive after we scored the first touchdown to open the second half. I think we got the ball back. I think it was at the 15-yard line or something like that. Again, they had highlighted, and I had seen that Chris Jones was getting pressure. So, but they had highlighted that they had switched him off of Zion Johnson to Matt Filer. He beat Matt Filer. Matt Filer is not as quick as Zion Johnson as a guard, right? Matt Filer is a big dude. He's really good in the run game. But as far as pass blocking goes, like, he can get beat by defensive tackles who have really good moves, right? Really good quick moves. And he got beat several times by Chris Jones. What did Lombardi do? Lombardi ran 3 straight slow developing plays with a whole bunch of motion, the fake handoffs and stuff like that. Very slow developing. It was really like a tailor-made situation for the Chiefs to get pressure on Justin Herbert. And they did. And they hit him 3 times, and then they ended up getting that sack, and Herbert just got out of the end zone. I think we punted it from like the 2-yard line or whatever, or the ball was at the 2-yard line, and that's when J.K. Scott had a terrible punt. It went like 35 yards. That was a disaster situation. And all three times, the play calling, all three times, three slow developing pass plays with no runs, no Austin Eckler, no Joshua Kelly, nothing. Like it was just BS, just BS. All three plays similar. And the Chiefs got pressure every single play in a similar fashion because they were all slow developing. Like obviously, and everybody talks about the offensive line injuries and all of that stuff. Yes, you can bring that up, but how does Joe Lombardi not know about that? If you have offensive line injuries, two of your starting O linemen are going or have went down. Why are you running slow developing passing plays? Right? Why? And then if they're bringing pressure and they're pinning their ears back, defensive lines pinning their ears back. Why not throw a screen to Austin Eckler in that situation? Why not start the drive off with that? Right? Why not hand the ball off to him or something? There's a lot of different ways you could have went at the Chiefs defense at that point, and he called three of the same plays, and it was very, very frustrating, extremely frustrating. Uh, yeah, we had him, we had him, but we let him go just like we always do. Why aren't they utilizing Eckler in the offense more? We need to use. I said the same. I said the same thing last night. The man had 20 touchdowns last season, and now he can't even get a red zone touch. They don't give it to him in the red zone. The whole tempo thing, the whole interception, the pick six, that was on the offensive coordinator. That was his fault. He's telling Herbert to go tempo. Gerald Everett had just caught two passes previously. He got the ball down to the 3 yard line. The 25-yard catch or whatever. He was dragging guys with him all the way down there. He was gassed. He was gassed. They went in tempo and then they went shotgun. You have to bring the big people in the game. Bring them in the game. Run it. I would be fine. I would be completely fine. I would be completely content. And I wouldn't criticize him at all. If you brought the big guys into the game, you bring the extra lineman, you bring the fullback in, and you run the ball 3 straight times. And if you don't get in, you don't get in. I would be super content with that, especially with how the Chiefs are built on the defensive line. They're small. They're small. Outside of Chris Jones, they are small. They got guys that are like 280, 290, whatever. They don't have big, huge guys on the defensive line. They don't. They're not built like the Chargers. The Chargers got a lot of beef and girth up there on the defensive line. The Chiefs don't. They got smaller guys because their defensive system, the way that they blitz and all of that stuff, they are more adept at rushing the passer than they are at stopping the run. They when they stop the run, they have to bring more guys up. They have to fill gaps. That's just not what they do well. That's why you can run on the Chiefs. It's been this way for the past 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. Like that's just how they're built. You bring big people in and you maul them and you get in the end zone and you try it 3 straight times. That's what I would do. That's what I would do, especially if you want to establish the physicality again. You want to reestablish the physicality in the second half. We did it in the first half pretty well. You want to reestablish the physicality, give it to Austin Eckler 3 times or give it to Xander Horvath. Put him in the backfield and let him maul people. Let him get ahead of steam and run everybody over, get into the end zone. Like there's so many ways to go at that. And for Lombardi to just be doing like the opposite of what should be happening is crazy. And he's an offensive coordinator. It's nuts. It really is nuts. I don't understand it. Really don't. Let's see. I would rather we have Phil throwing than Chase or Easton. We give him that bowl game retirement. Nah, Phillip Rivers is done, man. Phillip Rivers is done. He can't, especially with this offense too, the way that Joe Lombardi calls it, he would get Phillip Rivers decapitated out there. The way that he calls his offense is just not. Justin Herbert is an athlete, and that's what gets underrated all the time. His movement in the pocket, the way he's able to manipulate the pocket, and not just him running outside of the pocket, the way he's able to manipulate while still keeping his eyes downfield and delivering accurate throws. That's something that Phillip Rivers was never, ever able to do. He was never, ever, ever able to do. And, you think about how unmobile he was when he played. He hasn't played for the Chargers in 2 years. You think about his mobility now, he probably can't, I'm sure he can't run or do anything like he did even 3-4 years ago. Like, so that would be a very bad situation if Phillip Rivers was back there. With Joe Lombardi calling plays, there would be no way. And he would be pissed. He would get into it with Lombardi too, especially all the chirping and stuff that he does. He's a different personality than Justin Herbert. So he would probably challenge Lombardi and say, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you calling this?" Definitely a different personality. So I mean, it would be funny to see it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Bolt Gang funeral. Yeah, for real. Like, I would love to see Phillip Rivers back and get his just due, get his retirement and all that stuff. But putting him in this, like the way that things are going now, I don't think so. There's no way. I seen somebody earlier. I think I missed it, but somebody was asking about Pipkins. Oh yeah, Pipkins and Lindsley. So what I've seen is that both of these guys are going to be back this week. Trey Pipkins got rolled up. His ankle got rolled up. His X-rays were negative. He doesn't have any structural issues or whatever. It's just soreness now. So they said that he'll be back. I think he's day to day. And they said Corey Lindsley he's expected to be back at practice this week as well too. Same thing with him. I don't know exactly how it happened, but I know that his knee is sore. I guess they said it's sore, but he doesn't have any structural damage or anything like that either. They held both those guys out as a precaution yesterday, and again, this is why I'm saying Staley has a lot to prove, because if you're holding your offensive lineman out for a precaution, you're holding your starting center and you're holding your right tackle out for precautionary reasons against the Chiefs, right? Because I don't know if anybody's seen the camera panning, but Trey Pipkins had his helmet. He had his helmet in his hands on the sideline, and his ankle taped up. He looked like he was ready to go. If he pushed to try to get in the game, he probably could have. But he had his helmet in his hands. He was ready to go. But they held both of them out for precautionary reasons. But you don't hold your starting quarterback out for precautionary reasons when he gets a much more what appeared to be a much more serious injury than both of the two linemen. That's what's puzzling, and that's what's questioning to me. This is why I don't understand the fanboys. I don't understand the nut huggers of the D writers of Staley and Lombardi. It doesn't make sense. These decisions don't make sense. You hold out your starting linemen. Okay, let's take it easy with them. It's just a precaution. Okay, Justin, your rib might be broken, but just go out here and throw the ball. What kind of sense does that make? Can somebody please tell me what type of sense does that make? Because that makes no sense at all. That is just it's just ridiculous. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And this is the type of stuff that is going to get Brandon Staley fired. That's what I'm saying. If he bungles this situation, this Justin Herbert injury situation, he will be gone. And that's just, it is what it is. There's a lot of people who don't want to realize that. They don't want to come to grips with it. There's a lot of Charger fans. There's other Charger pages and all that stuff who are, just talking this and that, whatever this and that. They love Brandon Staley so much. They have man crushes on Brandon Staley for whatever reason, and they think that he's going to be mad at them if they criticize him. I don't get it. I really don't understand. But I'm on here. I'm telling the truth. He is going to get fired. If this is something serious and this derails the Chargers' chances by any stretch this season, he's going to get fired. He's going to get fired. People need to come to grips with that. This is now a really, really serious situation. The talk and all that stuff is over. Like, it's a serious situation. It really is. It really, really is. And he needs to understand that. I don't know if he does understand it or not. He is, to me, he's coming off as Josh McDaniels came off in Denver a little bit. A little full of himself, and nobody can really tell him anything. And that's what Josh McDaniels' biggest problem in Denver was. There is a bunch of articles, a bunch of things to read on that, a bunch of interviews with former players and coaches that talk about Josh McDaniels and how he was not able to really bring himself down to the level of players, right? He wasn't able to bring himself down to the level of his other coaches. So he wasn't able to listen to anybody. He was doing his thing, whether it was good for the team or not. And ultimately, that's what got him canned in Denver. So I think Staley, if he doesn't watch it, he's going to come off at a little Josh McDaniels-ish, like the smartest guy in the room type stuff. And that's not who you want to be as a coach. That is not the perception that you want to have around the league. He already rubbed a lot of people the wrong way last year with all of the going forward on fourth down and all of that stuff. Like, a lot of people were looking at him like, oh, this guy thinks he's smarter than everybody else, or he's trying to reinvent the wheel. And that perception around the league is bad because you have a lot of coaches, you look at the guys who have been around for a while, right? Obviously the Belichick's, but like the Ron Rivera's, of the world. Those guys are looking at him like this dude is like he's a pompous jackass, and he thinks he knows more than what he does. Like, but obviously, if you haven't made your rounds around the league as a coordinator, if you haven't, made your rounds around the league in several different, head coaching positions and stuff like that, people look at you a little differently, and they look at you like, yeah, this guy thinks he knows more than what he does. So I think that's the perception that he is starting to build now. And that's not a good thing at all. It isn't a good thing at all. Lombardi literally said in week 1 that he was a little conservative in play calling. So I was expecting more against the Chiefs. And once again, second half play calling was awful. That's all he knows. You can't change a Tiger's stripes. He's 51 years old. That's what he knows. And I tell people this all the time. That's just what he knows. He's not going to change. He's not going to do anything different. It's just what he knows. It's what he knows. He's not going to do anything different because he doesn't know how to do anything different. It's what he knows. He is who he is. And people need to stop, like, they're all the Charger fans who are defending him and saying, oh, it's going to get better and all this stuff. They need to stop with that. He's going to do what he does. We know what he does. He has been the offensive coordinator for 18 games now. And by and large, well, not even by and large, mostly he has been a conservative play caller, mostly for these 18 games. And you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he has been a conservative play caller. I don't know how many, and this is actually funny too. I'm glad you brought this up because this is funny. What's up with Kelly? Seems like he is hungry. Also, do you think Spiller is going to replace Kelly, or Michael we get some time in the show? No, I don't think so. I don't think. Yeah, Josh Kelly needs more carries. He definitely needs more carries. He was running hard last night. His balance seems to be the thing that he has most improved in the offseason. He was carrying the ball, and he was running with a lot of force. But he was keeping his balance, and that's the one thing that I was like, man, I'm impressed with him. I think he had like 2 or 3 of the 7 to 8 yard carries, and I was really impressed with him. Extremely impressed with Josh Kelly. He needs more carries. I don't think that Spiller is going to take Kelly's. I don't think Spiller takes Kelly's reps, or even Sonny Michel either. I think Spiller is just going to have to wait it out till next year. To be honest with you, unless one of those guys gets injured, yeah, he's gonna have to wait it out till next year because I like the running backs that we have now. That they do a good job, and they hold on to the football as well too. So Isaiah Spiller, you always have to be a little careful with rookie running backs. They normally have the fumbling issues. But yeah, I think Spiller's gonna have to wait till next year. But going back to the point about Joe Lombardi that Young West brought up. Do people forget all of the people who are literally filleting Joe Lombardi, giving him the 2-hand twist, holding his member for him when he pees? Do all of the people forget Justin Herbert's rookie year, right? He won Rookie of the Year, obviously. I think he had 7 touchdowns. He had 7 touchdowns or 7 plays. I can't remember. It was either 7 touchdowns or 7 plays that were over, I think, 40 yards. And this was with young wide receiver. This is with Jalen Guyton, Tyron Johnson. When he played for us, he plays with the Raiders now. But he was hitting these guys down the field. Does anybody remember that? I don't think a lot of the fans who are defending Joe Lombardi remember that. He was going downfield, and he was accurate downfield, and that won us more games than we should have won that season, that 2020 season, because that was a bad team. And then, so that's what I want people to. That's the first thing I want people to remember, right? 7 plays, 7 or 8 plays over 40 yards, right? And obviously some of those went for touchdowns too. But the thing that people brought up last season, and the thing that people are really bringing up in Joe Lombardi's defense, is that, well, we had the offensive line wasn't as good last year, and what they're bringing up last night, the offensive line got injured. There was guys in the offensive line that got injured, so we couldn't go deep just because there was a couple of guys on the offensive line that got injured. That's and that's their excuse. Does anybody remember in 2020 all those plays that Justin Herbert had over 40 yards? Does anybody remember who the left tackle was? Anybody remember Sam Tevy? Do we remember how bad this dude was? Right? Do we remember how bad this dude was? Trey Turner. That was one of the worst offensive lines the Chargers have ever had. It just didn't look that way because Justin Herbert was so good. Nobody remembers that. Why is nobody remembering this? I just don't get it. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Rookie season, 7 plays over 40 yards with Sam Tevi at left tackle. So you're telling me because Corey Linsley went out and because Trey Pipkins went out that the Chargers couldn't go down the field? They couldn't attack down the field? Is that what somebody's telling me? And this is what Justin Herbert had over the whole entire 2020 season. He had those guys. He had that shitty offensive line the whole entire season. It wasn't just, for a game or two or whatever. That was the whole entire season. And what was happening? He was going down the field. He was going down the field. And he was completing passes down the field to speedy receivers who get down the field. Right? Jalen Guyton had several of those. I know people remember this. I know people remember this. Along with Forrest Lamp. Yeah, exactly. Forrest Lamp, Trey Turner, Brian Balaga. I can't remember how many games he played, but he got injured that season as well. So he was injured pretty much the whole time he was a Charger. But people remember this. People remember this. I remember this. Yes, Shane Steichen and Pep were in the house. Exactly. But Shane Steichen is now in Philadelphia. And look what that offense is doing. That offense is putting up 38 points. What they put up, 38 points. They put up so many points last year, too, with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. They have a really great offensive line, but Jalen Hurts is at quarterback, and they're putting up points. They're putting up points. They have weapons, and they're putting guys in positions to really, really succeed. Jalen Hurts shouldn't be having the type of NFL career that he's having right now, to be honest with you. He is like coming out of college, I thought he was like a smaller version of Terrell Pryor. I was like, this guy's probably not going to spend his whole career at quarterback. But he's looking good right now. He's looking good. And he might be a Pro Bowler this year. They're going to make the playoffs again. People need to remember that. Or that time was Sam Tevi was knocked out on that Herbert rush. That was his career. He was terrible, but he was terrible. That's who the starting left tackle was. That's who the starting left tackle was. You go back, I can't remember who the center was. That was a terrible offensive line. Very unrememberable, very forgettable offensive line, I should say. That's what they were doing, though. That's what the Chargers were doing when Justin Herbert was a rookie. They were going downfield. It didn't matter who the line was. That's such a sorry excuse to make, like, we don't have the line. Everything's not going to be perfect. Everything ain't going to be perfect. Everything, and it doesn't need to be perfect to have your quarterback with one of the strongest arms in the league drop back, hit that back foot, and deliver strikes down the field. Things don't need to be perfect for that to happen. And you're talking about, the defense is adjusting and this and that and blah, blah, blah. They're still going to get one-on-ones on the outside. Somebody's going to get one-on-one on the outside. They can't double everybody. They started doubling Mike. Then they couldn't double everybody. They couldn't double Josh Palmer. They couldn't double DeAndre Carter. They couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. They couldn't double Gerald Everett. You have to go down the field. You have to go down the field. And nobody wants the Chargers to go down the field every single time, obviously. There's some of these fans some of these Joe Lombardi defenders are making disingenuous arguments. Oh, you want the Chargers to go down the field every time? Well, shit, if you can make easy points and if you can have layups, then why not? If it's there, then you take it. When it's there, you take it. You don't just say, we couldn't do it. We didn't have our center in the game. Bull. Yeah, get out of here with that. Everybody, every single offensive lineman on the Chargers roster right now is better than Sam Tevi. And Sam Tevi was the starting left tackle. Even the guys who are, backed up, guys who are on the practice squad, whatever, they are all better than Sam Tevi. Every single guy is better than Sam Tevi. So what? I don't get it. I don't understand that. I really, really don't understand that. And with that offense, another thing, number 3, if you guys remember, we gave the Tampa Bay Bucks, the eventual Super Bowl champions, all they can handle at home. If anybody remembers that as well, too. What was going on? They were going deep. They were attacking deep. Jalen Guyton caught a touchdown deep. I think Tyron Johnson caught a touchdown deep. And this was going up against the Bucks and Tom Brady, the eventual Super Bowl champions of that season. That's what the Chargers were doing when Justin Herbert was a rookie. So for this offense to not produce and for him to have the lowest amount of air yards is inexcusable. And there's no way that you can excuse that. No way you can excuse that. There's no way you can say that, they're just, the defense is just, no, BS. They weren't playing, the Chiefs were not playing too deep all game long. They just weren't. It is BS. It is BS, and everybody knows it. They have a love fest going with Brandon Staley. They have a Superman crush on him. They have a love fest with every decision that Brandon Staley is making, and they cannot bring themselves to criticize him for whatever reason because they think he's going to be mad at them or whatever. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand. But the cat's out of the bag on this one, guys. It's out of the bag, and it's going to continue to be out of the bag until Justin Herbert is 100% healthy and he can go and continue playing the way that he was playing. But this is a situation that the Chargers, the coaching staff, have pretty much created for themselves, and I don't have confidence that they're going to get out of this unscathed. I really don't. Honestly, I do not. I do not. Um, let's say, let me get to, man, the way Everett plays ball gets me fired up. I love it. Yeah, I hope we can keep him around for a while and see what. Yes, told everybody. I made that video. I made a video about Gerald Everett a couple of months ago. Well, I think after they signed him, right? Because I said, man, this dude he's good. I remember watching him with the Rams. The Rams don't. That's one thing with Sean McVay. He does not utilize the tight end position for whatever reason. And he probably should. It'll make it a lot easier on his offense. But the tight end position doesn't get utilized the way that it should. They got a good tight end now too in Higbee, number 89. But his numbers are not great. They're just middle of the road. He's had talented tight ends, but he doesn't use them. He underutilizes them. And I think his offense is a little too simple. It's simplified, and a lot of it looks the same. And I think I was surprised they won the Super Bowl last year because I don't know, man. Their offense is too simple, a little too simple. It doesn't have a lot of it doesn't look like Kyle Shanahan's offense, and it pretty much is the same. But it doesn't look like Shanahan's offense. It's too simple, too simple. They don't utilize tight ends. Don't know why, but yeah, Gerald Everett is a baller, and I knew this coming in, so that's why I was like, man, I can't wait to watch him. So. Young West, love the channel, bro. Keep up the grind. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for all of the views, the comments, all the engagement. Really, really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Well, let's see. I really hope the Chargers don't throw Herbert's career away. It would be horrible for sports and this franchise. We don't know until this. I think that this year, whatever the end result is going to it's not obviously going to be the end all be all, but I think it's going to really, really show what the ceiling is for Justin Herbert in LA. Unless they do a complete overhaul, coaching staff and all of that stuff. But this is year 3, so I think this is like kind of a fork in the road year. I think, depending on whatever the outcome is, really, really whatever the outcome is, it's a fork in the road moment. But yeah, I mean. Hopefully we're on the right side of it, but if we're not, then it's going to be puzzling. It's going to be puzzling, and hopefully Herbert can overcome all of the BS that the franchise brings because it really is. It's just not. Things are not going as well as they should be. Things are not as easy as they should be with all of this talent on this team. So, I mean, all we can do is wait. We can just play the waiting game and hope at this point right now, but. We'll see going forward. I love Justin, but hopefully there will be a point in time when he needs to start calling out his coaches. I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath for that. He's too nice. He's too nice of a guy. I just don't. Maybe he can, talk to people, off the record and stuff like that. But as far as him getting on the podium and really calling people out, he ain't gonna do that. I don't think he's gonna do that. I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I would not hold out hope for that because he's just not a guy that stirs shit up. He just goes in, does what he needs to do, plays football, and goes home. He's not a shit stirrer. So he doesn't have the Aaron Rodgers energy. He doesn't have the Kyler Murray energy. He doesn't have any of that type of asshole-ish energy. He just does what he does. He's very quiet. So I would like to see that happen because when he talks, people will listen. Especially if he's okay and he's not out for a long time and he continues balling and has a fantastic year this year and he's in the MVP race and all that stuff. If he continues doing that, once he talks, people are going to want to listen. The organization is going to want to listen. Everybody's going to have no choice but to listen to your star player. and he might have to ruffle some feathers. I would hope that he would, but like I said, I wouldn't hold out hope. He's not assholish in any way. He's just a guy, So hopefully he's able to make it happen. But I wouldn't hold out hope on that. Let's see. Where was Guyton? I know he can be sneaky, but damn, that's too sneaky. They don't use him. They don't care. They don't use him. He's just on the roster. They don't use him. They don't use him. He caught a bunch of passes down the field Justin Herbert's rookie season, but they don't use him because they don't care. And they don't care to use him, and they're not going to use him either. He's just out there just, getting a few reps in here and there. I think he's only caught one pass this season, right? So they don't use him. They don't use him. That's the only answer to that. They just don't use him. Chase and Stick should both be playing while Justin is out. They probably will. I think Chase Daniel is. Obviously he's not a starting quarterback material, but it's not going to take very long for everybody to see that. So I think Easton Stick will probably end up playing, depending on how long he's out. But we'll see. Chase Daniel's not. He's just not the guy. And this offense could get ugly with Joe Lombardi. Combination of Joe Lombardi and Chase Daniel. This offense could get ugly. It could get Chicago Bears like if this really does happen, and if Herbert is out for a long period of time, it can get very, very bad. So we'll see, man. I'm just hoping for the best. So I listened to some random podcasts about the game, and they were saying that we're running an outdated offense from 2002. It is an outdated. It's an outdated offense. This, like I said, this is the Sean Payton offense from New Orleans, and then Sean Payton got this offense from, I can't remember who he got it from, but Sean Payton coached. He was the coordinator with the Cowboys, I think in like 04, 03, 04. So he was under Bill Parcells. I can't remember which coaching tree Peyton comes from. But it basically the offense that Peyton ran was tailor-made for Drew Brees, right? Drew Brees had that really bad shoulder injury after he got injured that last game that he played for the Chargers. His shoulder was all tore up. He was about to sign with the Dolphins. The team doctor said no, so he ended up signing with the Saints. And Sean Payton was quick to see that, okay, this guy cannot make all of the throws. He can't make all of the throws. He can make a lot of them, but he can't make all of them, especially the deep ones, the deep crosses and stuff like that. He couldn't make those. Like the throws that Herbert makes, he couldn't make those. So he pretty much tailored this offense around Drew Brees. He has a lot of movement in it, a lot of motion, a lot of things. Just like I said, for a defense, if you're playing defense, you're playing against Sean Payton, Drew Brees. There's a lot of window dressing. There's a lot of things for you to look at, right? So if you're keying in, if I'm a linebacker and I'm keying in on, let's say like Reggie Bush was in the backfield, right? And I'm looking at Reggie Bush. Okay, I know I got Reggie Bush in man-to-man right here, right? We're playing man under. I know I got Reggie Bush. So what Sean Payton would do was run the tight end in motion, right? Run him back in motion. You see that it's man coverage, and then Drew Brees will come out and maybe flip the play around, right? Or send Reggie Bush out in the receiver spot, the X spot or whatever, right? So there's a lot of things to key in on. And you can't really just say, okay, I got this guy in man-to-man and let me forget everything else, right? There's a lot of stuff for you to key in. There's a lot of stuff for you to look at, right? So you're looking at tight ends, you're looking at wide receivers, you're looking at linemen, right? You're looking at a lineman who is in a stance, and once the ball gets snapped, he looks like he's going to pull, but he's pulling, so I follow him, and then they throw it to Reggie Bush on the back end and the screen or something like that. A lot of window dressing to really, really mess you up on defense. That's pretty much what the New Orleans Saints offense was. And it was very creative. And obviously it worked like a mug because Drew Brees had all the passing yards. Obviously he's going to be a Hall of Famer with the Super Bowl title and all that stuff. So it worked. It worked for Drew Brees. But this offense does not work for Justin Herbert. It really doesn't. All the window dressing really doesn't do anything now. Like in today's game, everybody knows that it's window dressing. So, especially if you have Mike Williams, you have Keenan Allen. Everybody knows you want to get those guys the ball. You want to get the ball to Austin Eckler. I mean, one would think so, but all of the window dressing doesn't work because the guys who get paid are the ones who are getting the ball. So you can have as much window dressing as you want to, right? I know you're going to go down the field to Mike Williams, so I'm going to just key in on Mike Williams. I don't need to really worry about the tight end going in motion. I really don't need to worry about whatever the running back is doing. I don't need to worry about the offensive line. I know you're trying to get the ball to these great players, so whatever they do, I'm shadowing them. So I think it's a lot difficult. The game today has changed so much, especially with the rules and all that stuff too, the defensive rules and all of that. The game has changed a lot, but this is a outdated offense that we are running, and it is not tailored to just Justin Herbert's skills. And this is what you get most of the time when you have a defensive head coach. You have a defensive head coach who brings in some offensive coordinator who runs a random offense that is not tailored to the skills of your quarterback. And your quarterback's strength and your quarterback's strength should be pushed to the front, and the weaknesses should be pushed to the back. Herbert doesn't have many weaknesses, right? We know this, but his strengths are going down the field, right? Making really tight window throws, getting out of the pocket, creating things out of the pocket, using his legs. Obviously, you have the Austin Eckler, one of the best, pass catching running backs in the league. He can make things happen too. So there's a lot that goes on that can just, you can simplify this offense and make it very simple, but it's not. And this is not tailored to what Justin Herbert does well. So this is why the offense looks this way. And it sucks. It really does suck. It's the Bill Parcells tree. Yeah. He came from the Bill Parcells tree. I don't know the offensive I don't know the philosophy though. It was on my tongue, but I can't remember it. But basically, Sean Payton he pretty much created his own offense, pretty much. But yeah, that's not the offense that we're running as well too. JC has seemed a little off. The late offseason led to surgery last night. Wrong coverage. I don't know. The whole thing is starting to seem sketching me out. I hope he proves wrong. That play was not JC Jackson's fault. That was Nasir Adderley's fault. Nasir Adderley had deep zone on that one. I think it was cover one because everybody came up. So he had, I'm pretty sure it was cover one because he was the only guy that should have been back there. But that was his fault. He bit on the Travis Kelce route. And pretty much Mahomes looked him off and then went to Watson back in the backfield. And the way that J.C. Jackson was playing that, he was in the right position. Obviously, he could have played it better, but he was in the right position because that should have been a throw over the cornerback, but in front of the safety. So that should have been a much harder throw, but there was no safety back there. So that was Nasir Adderley's fault. When the all 22 comes out, I'm definitely going to take a look at that. I might make a video about that too. That was definitely his fault. He should not have been up there. He should not have bit on Travis Kelce, because if Kelce catches the ball, then you can come up, rally, and tackle him. But yeah, that was his fault. That was Nasir Adderley's fault. He should have been in the deep middle, but he was not, and that should have been a much harder throw if Mahomes was even going to throw it. Right? He might have just checked it down. He probably would have, more than likely. To throw it over J.C. Jackson and then throw it right in front of Adderley to that Watson guy who's been on a bunch of teams. I don't know. I wouldn't take a chance. He's a special teams player, so I would not take a chance and throw a pass like that to him. Maybe you throw it to Kelce, but not to him. So I don't think he takes a chance if the safety's in the middle of the field. But that was a blown coverage by Nasir Adderley. Definitely a blown coverage by him. When they showed the replay too, from that angle that they had in the end zone, after he caught the ball, if you see Nasir Adderley, he kind of put his hands up on his face mask and was like he knew that he messed up. So that was definitely on Adderley. Definitely on Adderley. I would bet all the money I have right now that was Nasir Adderley. He should have been in that deep end zone, but he reacted to Travis Kelce. So yeah, you got to let him get his. You have to let him get his footing as well too. I think because Kansas City doesn't have a wide receiver that is, up there, right? All those guys are just kind of okay. He didn't really respect any of those guys, so I don't think you're going to see the best out of him. You normally see the best out of J.C. Jackson when he knows he's going up against one of the top receivers in the league. That's why I thought the matchup between him and Devontae Adams would be marquee, because he knows who Devontae Adams is as a receiver in this league. So I think he would have been on his A game. Obviously, if he was, completely 100% healthy and recovered from that ankle surgery. But that is going to be a matchup that I want to watch later on in the season. Hopefully, he's able to stay healthy for that, because I think when he's really at his best when he can play that man to man, and he can shut down one side of the field and pretty much travel with whoever the best receiver is, because he can play on both sides. So um, yeah, but you got to give him a little bit of time. I think you got to give him time. He's going to be good. He's going to be good for us. He's going to get some interceptions as well too, because he's so good at playing the ball. Um, but yeah, he could have played that a lot better than he did. But yeah, that should have been. He was playing that expecting help. If he wasn't expecting help, he would have shaded the inside. He would have played inside leverage, and that would have been a much harder throw for Mahomes to make. But yeah, I thought that was Nasir Adderley's fault. Let's see, where do we go from here? Do we start a movement to try to fire our coaches and owner? We have to do something. How you feeling? Hopeless. Just honestly just keep criticizing them. It's not going to take too much. It ain't going to take too much longer for anything to happen. To be honest with you, you cannot have a team that this talented and underachieve. If the Chargers are going to continue to underachieve, if they fall to like 1-3 or something like that, the pressure is on. That's going to be a pressure cooker right there. That is going to be a pressure cooker that nobody is going to be able to talk their way out of. All the fans who fillet Lombardi and Staley and all that, you ain't going to be able to talk your way out of that. This is a result-oriented business, and if you're not getting results, you got to go. That's just as simple as that. So I think we're just in a wait and see kind of position right now. And like I said, just because we have Justin Herbert, it always seems like the game is in reach. It always seems like we can win and all that stuff. But if you don't produce with the team this talented, with all the money that they spent, then it's going to be a pressure cooker. It really is. Really, really is. Let's see. What was the worst Lombardi call last night? That Carter throw was up there for me, to pick six. Scary throw at drop, keeping Herbert out there for punt. The worst call last night, man. I gotta say it was the pick six. I gotta say it's that, because you just do not. And I talked about this. I made videos about it. Brandon Staley talked about it. Tom Telesco talked about it. They talked about getting more physical on both sides of the ball. They talked about it a whole lot. All of the pressers during the offseason was about being physical and them not thinking that they were physical enough last year, right? Which was correct. The Chargers weren't physical enough last year, but you cannot just say it. You have to come out and show it. So you get the ball down to the 3-yard line. You bring your big people in. You say you want to get physical. What better opportunity to get physical than at the 3-yard line, first and goal? What better opportunity do you have? You don't have a better opportunity than that, to go in and push guys around. You know what's coming, right? The Chiefs know what's coming, but we're so damn physical, we're just going to hit you in the mouth and you still can't stop us. What other way to show physicality than that? That is the absolute best way to show how physical of a team you are. Now, they didn't do that. They decided to go tempo at the goal line for whatever reason. And it doesn't make any sense. I don't see very many teams going tempo at the goal line. I've seen teams go tempo all the way up until the goal line, and then they come in and even if they don't have a physical package in, they will come in and try to do something, try to put some window dressing on the play or whatever. But it's never been a thing where you just go tempo in the red zone just because, and to try to catch a team off guard or whatever. Is like, I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense, especially with players who were just in for the previous 2 or 3 plays and they're tired and they need a break. Even just getting to a huddle is a break for some players. Like, I don't know. That was a very, very bad call. It was a puzzling call. And again, you just cannot talk about how physical you're going to be without showing it. If you are not physical, then what are you doing? What was the Zion Johnson draft pick for? What was signing all those running backs for? What the hell was it? What was trying to get the run game going? What was all that about? It's just all talk. It's all talk. All of it is talk. And at that point, Brandon Staley should have stepped in and said, no, hey, Joe, we're going to bring in some big people here. We're going to bring in some big people. And if we fail, it's on me, right? If we fail 3 times, it's on me. But we're going to bring in big people and we're going to try to kick their ass, because not only have we showed it on defense, but let's show it here on offense too. Let's show it on offense. Let's show that we can push these guys around, right? Let's get it in their heads. Let's get it in their heads for even in our matchup later on in the season. Let's get it in our heads, because as great as Mahomes is and all of that stuff, we can still push you around. And that was the message in the first half. The second half wasn't. So to me, that was by far the worst call. That was one of the worst calls that I've ever seen. I know a lot of people are getting on Justin Herbert for the pick six. That wasn't his fault. Really wasn't his fault. I thought that Everett was tired, but he quit on the route. He completely quit on the route. And if he just steps in front of the cornerback, he catches the ball and maybe he doesn't score or whatever, but he completely stops that interception from happening. So again, that goes on the coaching staff. It starts with Brandon Staley. It goes with Joe Lombardi for even calling that, and then for Everett to not make a play on the ball, just terrible. It was awful. So definitely the worst play. I think the worst play call that we've said, that could be the worst play call we see all year, to be honest with you. So yeah, man. David 999. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Got to bounce. Keep it up, man. You're killing it. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate how you guys support all the views. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. I will say now, I was going to keep it in. So everybody watching, I'm going to be doing a little rebranding. I'm planning this in October. I'm going to be doing some rebranding. I'm going to change the name of the channel. I'm working on the website right now too. I'm going to be writing some articles, doing some print work for the website, and that's going to be dropping in October. I wanted to start it September, the beginning of this month, but everything wasn't ready for it yet. So got to upgrade internet and get equipment, internet equipment, and all of that stuff. So now that I'm starting to get that, the rebrand will be on. I'm obviously gonna talk a lot of Chargers, but the rebrand is gonna allow me to talk more NFL football too, because it's not just the Chargers, right, that we all want to talk about. There's other stuff that I want to talk about too. And this weekend would be perfect, right? Because the Chargers are not going to be playing until next Sunday, right? So there's still NFL games going on. So the rebrand is going to allow me to talk a lot more broader topics, some of the hotter topics as well too. The way YouTube works is that they really want you niche, a very, very niche down, right? My channel, I talk all NFL stuff, right? But I'm niched down into Charger stuff. So if I come out with a video and I give my thoughts on, a certain topic, right? A Deshaun Watson, the punter from the Bills or whatever, YouTube won't put me in the algorithm. So it will say, oh, you're not making Charger content, so this ain't important. So they won't put me in the algorithm. So the rebrand is going to allow me to talk more broader topics, more subjects on broader topics. Obviously, I'm going to keep continuing. The Charger stuff ain't going nowhere. We stand right here with the Chargers, but I will be able to talk more broader topics, more NFL topics. Like the Brady thing is something that I've been wanting to cover, but I'm not gonna make a video on it here because YouTube ain't gonna put it out. The Brady thing, he's choosing football over his marriage. That's crazy. That's a crazy subject just within itself. But if I make a video, then it's not going to really push it to you guys to watch it. So rebranding is something that is needed for me to grow the channel even more. So, and then obviously with the website as well too, I want to have that out there. I want to have that print out there. I'm going to be writing some articles and stuff. They're not going to be super long articles. I'm not going to be writing novels and things, but they're going to be, print stuff, right? So if you guys are at work or something, whatever, you can't watch YouTube and all that stuff, you can just click on the website, read whatever it is that I have to say, right? Because most of the stuff is going to line up with the videos that I make, so yeah, so the rebrand is something that's necessary going forward. And I'm just trying to continue to grow the channel and just trying to continue to do the best job that I can to put out the best content that I can. So thank you guys for all the support. Should have won that game. Mahomes didn't do anything special. We blew it. Also robbed of an interception. I think JC was rusty in that game. Yeah, we should have won. Yeah, Mahomes had 4 dropped interceptions, so he got lucky. He knows it too. He said it in the post game when he was on the set, the Thursday Night Football set with Tony Gonzalez and Richard Sherman. He knows it. He knows it because those are going to come up in film, and that's going to be something that he needs to correct. Because if the Chargers just catch 2 interceptions, if they don't, drop 2 interceptions, If Asante Samuel, if he had both those interceptions, then it would have been a much, much different game. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And, you have to get over that sometimes. And some of the best teams, some of the best Super Bowl teams that we've seen, they're able to get over a lot of adversity like that. And dropping interceptions, that's adversity. Maybe bad calls from the ref, that's adversity. But good teams are able to get over it. And, we're just not there yet, to be honest. We're just not there yet. I hope that we can get there, but we are not there yet. So, yeah, but this, what's it been on? What's it been? Oh man, it's been an hour and 10 minutes that I've been on. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I'll probably be back maybe tomorrow. I'll definitely be uploading a video tomorrow, possibly a live stream. Might do a live stream on Sunday too, just to test it out, see how it goes. There's a lot more NFL action, so I might go over some of that. Might talk some more NFL topics. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. If you guys are interested in that, then definitely join the stream. Come on here with the comments. Let's talk about everything, all of the interesting stories that's out there. Because there's going to be some interesting games going on. Going to be some games going on in our division, the Raiders and the Cardinals. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. I think the Cardinals are going to win. The Broncos and who the Broncos play? The Broncos play. I can't remember who they play. Who is it? I don't know, but they play somebody. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting game too. So those are AFC West games that are going to be going on. So I'm gonna come on here and talk some of that as well too. And then if there's any really good finishes, photo finishes or whatever, then we'll come on here and talk some of that too. But yeah, man. So really appreciate you guys. Really, really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the supports. Like I said, I'll be back. I'll be dropping a video tomorrow. And yeah, so I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been an hour, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. It's now time to go be a husband and a father now. So yeah, but thank you guys a lot for the support. I really, really can't thank you enough. And I'll see you guys later.